Welcome to this Functional Skills Level 2 Maths training video. This video contains information and guidance on Criterion 4. Identify and know the equivalence between fractions, decimals, and percentages. At Level 2, and by the end of this session, you should be able to recognize and match common fractions, decimals, and percentages. Convert between fractions, decimals, and percentages using simple steps. Simplify fractions and write them as decimals and percentages. And compare and order fractions, decimals, and percentages. Let's start by recapping fractions. Fractions represent parts of a whole. The top number, or numerator, tells you how many parts you have. The bottom number, or denominator, tells you how many parts the whole is split into. For example, 1/2 means 1 part out of 2 equal parts. 3/4 means 3 parts out of 4 equal parts. Percentages show a part out of 100. Cent means 100, so percent means per 100. For example, 50% means 50 out of 100. This is the same as 1/2 or 0.5. 25% means 25 out of 100. This is the same as 1/4 or 0.25. 75% means 75 out of 100. This is the same as 3/4 or 0.75. Percentages are often used in sales, tests, or statistics. For example, you got 80% in your test. Means you got the equivalent of 80 out of 100 marks. Decimals express fractions in a different way using place value. For example, 0.5 is the decimal form of 1/2. Look at this fraction, 1/2, this percentage, 50%, and this decimal, 0.5. These images represent the same value of a half, but in different forms. Some fractions, decimals, and percentages represent the same value. For example, 1/2 is the same as 0.5, which is the same as 50%. 1/4 is the same as 0.25, which is the same as 25%. 3/4 is the same as 0.75, which is the same as 75%. The following steps will help you to recognize equivalencies between fractions, decimals, and percentages. Step 1. Memorize common equivalents. Step 2. Look for patterns in numbers. You can use your knowledge of multiplication tables to help you work out equivalencies. For example, 0.2 is the same as 20% and 20 out of 100. You could multiply all of them by 3 to find out that 0.6 is the same as 60% and 60 out of 100. Now it's your turn. Match each of the boxes on the left to its equivalent on the right. Pause the video while you do this, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's check your answers. Did you get them right? When you're ready, let's move on to converting fractions, decimals, and percentages. Let's start with converting fractions to decimals. To convert fractions to decimals, simply divide the numerator by the denominator. If you are doing this without a calculator, you may want to try using the bus stop method. You may want to become comfortable and confident with this method before continuing. If you need more practice with division, refer to our video on Criterion 10. First, let's convert 1/4 into a decimal. When you convert fractions to decimals, you will need to follow the steps on screen to set up the bus stop method. Pause the video if you need to read the steps on screen, then press play to continue. To convert a decimal to a percentage, multiply the decimal by 100 and add a percentage sign. For example, 6.75 multiplied by 100 equals 675. 6.75 is equivalent to 675%, or 675 out of 100. 0.03 multiplied by 100 equals 3. 0.03 is equivalent to 3%, or 3 out of 100. Now it's your turn. Use this method to work out what 0.4 is when written as a percentage and a decimal. Pause the video while you have a go, then press play to continue. 0.4 multiplied by 100 equals 40. 0.4 is the same as 40%, or 40 out of 100. Finally, percentages can be converted to fractions by writing the percentage as a fraction out of 100. Please note that you may be asked to simplify the fraction if possible. For example, 25% is the same as 25 out of 100. Both 25 and 100 are multiples of 25. We can divide both of these numbers to simplify the fraction. 25 divided by 25 equals 1. 100 divided by 25 equals 4. When simplified, 25 out of 100 becomes 1/4. We will cover simplifying fractions in more detail later in the video. Now it's your turn. Try completing the following questions. Don't worry about simplifying the fractions if you're unsure how to do this. Pause the video while you work out the answers, then press play when you're ready to continue. Here are the answers. Let's look at question 6 in more depth. If you do not know the conversion, 1 out of 50 cannot be converted into a decimal or percentage straight away. This is because it is not out of 100. Instead, we need to double the numerator and denominator, so the fraction is out of 100. 1 multiplied by 2 equals 2. 50 multiplied by 2 equals 100. Now we have 2 out of 100. To convert this to a decimal, divide 2 by 100. 2 divided by 100 equals 0.02. The equivalent decimal is 0.02. If you haven't already worked out the percentage, you can multiply the decimal by 100. 0.02 multiplied by 100 equals 2. The equivalent percentage is 2%. Now it's your turn. Use a calculator to convert the following fractions, percentages, and decimals. Follow the same rules you have been given previously. Pause the video while you do this, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's check the answers. Pause the video while you do this, then press play to continue. Here's an exam practice question. Pause the video while you work out the answer, then press play to continue. Let's check the answer. Convert all fractions and mixed numbers into decimals and then to percentages. Here's another exam practice question. Pause the video while you work out the answer, then press play to continue. Let's check your answer. Convert all decimals to percentages. Note that only 3 of the numbers are decimals and the other 2 are distractors. Here's another exam question. Pause the video while you have a go, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's check your answer. We know that there are 200 items of clothing in total. First, we convert 25 out of 50 into 200ths. 4 multiplied by 50 equals 200. we also need to multiply the numerator by 4. 25 multiplied by 4 equals 100. 100 of the items are tops. Next, we need to calculate 20% of 200. We know that 20% of 100 means 20 out of 100. We also know that 200 is double 100. Therefore, we can double 20 to find 20% of 200. 20 multiplied by 2 equals 40. 40 of the items are jeans. Finally, we need to subtract 140 from 200 to find out how many items are left. These will be jackets. 200 minus 100 minus 40 equals 60. 60 of the items are jackets. Let's move on to simplifying fractions. Simplifying means making the fraction smaller but keeping its value the same. To simplify a fraction, divide the numerator and denominator by their highest common factor. The highest common factor is the highest number that both numbers can be divided by. Let's look at an example. 20 out of 100. Both 20 and 100 can be divided by 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. The highest common factor is 20. Now, we need to divide the numerator and denominator by the highest common factor. 20 divided by 20 equals 1. 100 divided by 20 equals 5. This gives us the fraction 1/5. We can check that the fraction has been simplified as much as possible by trying to divide the answer by the highest common factor again. 1 and 5 are only divisible by 1. We cannot make them any smaller. Therefore, 1/5 is the simplest fraction. Now it's your turn. Pause the video while you simplify these fractions, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's check the answers. Pause the video while you do this, then press play to continue. Sometimes, you'll be asked to convert a decimal or percentage into a fraction and show it in its simplest form. To do this, convert the percentage or decimal into a fraction. Find the highest common factor. Divide the numerator and denominator by the highest common factor. And check the new fraction can't be divided any further. Let's look at an example. Write 30% as a fraction in its simplest form. First, we need to convert 30% into a fraction. Remember that percent means per hundred. Therefore, 30% is the same as 30 out of 100. Next, find the highest common factor of 30 and 100. The highest common factor is 10. Divide both the numerator and denominator by 10. This gives us the fraction 3/10. This fraction cannot be divided or simplified any further. In its simplest form, the fraction is 3/10. Now it's your turn. Pause the video while you complete each question, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's check the answers. Pause the video while you do this, then press play to continue. Here's an exam practice question. Pause the video while you read the question and work out the answer, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's check the answer. Pause the video while you do this, then press play to move on to comparing fractions, decimals, and percentages. To compare and order values, they must all be in the same format. This means they must all be fractions, decimals, or percentages. To complete the comparison question, convert the values so they are all in the same format and then order them. Decimals are usually the easiest form to convert the values into, especially if you have access to a calculator. Let's look at an example. Order the following from smallest to largest. 3/4, 70% and 0.8. First, we need to convert the values so they are all in the same format. This time, we will use decimals. 3/4 is the same as 0.75. 70% is the same as 0.7. 0.8 is already a decimal. Finally, we can order the decimals from smallest to largest. 0.7, 0.75 and 0.8. Now it's your turn. Try converting and ordering these values. Pause the video while you work out the answer, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's check your answer. Did you get it right? Pause the video while you check, then press play to continue. You should now be able to recognize and match common fractions, decimals, and percentages, convert between fractions, decimals, and percentages using simple steps, simplify fractions and write them as decimals and percentages, and compare and order fractions, decimals, and percentages. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.